I'd like to preface this presentation with a reminder of the significance and relevance drone technology has currently and especially in the near future given the objectives of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and how the war on terrorism, which is truly a war declared on and waged against the individual and his rights and freedoms, continuously re-emerges as an engine for these upcoming societal and global changes and restructurings. The war simply never ended, and it never will. And as we witness, it led to the development and fulfillment of various New World Order channels such as the Patriot Act, DHS, police militarization, and the surveillance state and so forth. I'd like to also stress that many of the frontmen of today's world stage played their role in one form or another in initiating the so-called war on terror. This is a part 3 continuation of the cyborg drone project known as Dragonfly, a collaboration between Draper Laboratories and the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. At the time this research was conducted, then Draper CEO Ken Gabriel held his position until it was later published he was removed from the position for reasons unclear. I decided to wait in publishing this video until other information became available. However, there is simply nothing on the matter yet. I will still provide background on Ken Gabriel because it will prove insightful on just how far back the agenda had our current state of affairs planned, as well as solutions proposed by the very same entities orchestrating and fabricating the problems they claim we have regarding our national security, which has increased its reach to include the state of health of the individual. Here we see the direction where this is headed. Draper and the DoD work together on military drones. Global spending on unmanned aerial vehicles is poised for a major expansion in the coming decades as militaries invest an estimated $98 billion in new capabilities.
And again, as I was saying, so John Hyland, that is a bulletin released to all law enforcement earlier this week that there is, until the end of April, a persistent threat of domestic extremism, domestic terrorism.
Extremism, domestic put, these strikes have saved lives. Moreover, America's actions are legal.
Why surveillance drones may become a staple of daily life. Although not directly related to the Draper and HHMI Dragonfly cyborg drone, the application of these mechanical drones, also of a similar name which I've covered in 2 previous videos, have highly overlapping applications in common. Therefore, I will be including them throughout this video. This article attempts to not only externalize the surveillance state, it makes an asinine claim of the public's demand of a, quote, pandemic drone, as well as the permanent state of such technology. The article reads, "The coronavirus pandemic has forced the public and private sectors to consider drones for everything from tracking the spread of CV-19 to gauging when to lift restrictions. Long after this epidemic is over, drones could play a critical role not just for delivery, but also in detecting and tracking similar outbreaks, safeguarding both public health and business operations." I'd also like to point out the claim that the quote, "the demand to test the technology has been insatiable," is clearly contrasted by the outcry against the Westport pilot, hence its pulling out of the pilot program. The article continues on the insatiable demand, and it reads, "That's certainly a portion of it. Police and law enforcement are certainly an important part of that. But no, it's also coming from the healthcare industry. For medical facilities, it can help triage incoming patients during a surge. It can measure employee health coming in as a facility for the sake of employees, but also for the sake of patients. We've had significant commercial interest from the airline industry, the tourism industry, things like theme parks, cruise lines." This article continues in the same fashion with an open embracing of such technology. It reads, "Military drones are taking over the skies. Not only are they being used to fight wars, they are also in use for tasks such as security and traffic control over non-warring territories. They are also powerful tools to help fight forest fires. There are many uses for the military drones, and we're happy to report they're not all just killing machines, particularly those equipped for life-saving efforts." Then Draper CEO Kygam, or Ken J. Gabriel, has an extensive history in the military-industrial complex, as most individuals do that are behind Dragonfly and various other similar projects. There is very little online regarding Gabriel's personal life. However, as I read this, keep in mind the cyborg drone and the true intentions of such technology and realize just how far back this has been in the works. In this article, dated November 11, 2001, entitled "Former DARPA Official Ken Gabriel to Head Office for Security Technologies. New venture aims to assist Homeland anti-initiatives in response to the attacks of 11, Carnegie Mellon has created an Office for Security Technologies that will work with the federal government to match Carnegie Mellon's capabilities with national security needs." The language is filled with euphemisms such as security, which translates to surveillance or control and is purposefully vague to allow for needs to be met in the national security efforts, which translates to globalist totalitarian efforts for full surveillance and control. This should come to no surprise, since underneath the photo of the article it makes mention of his work with FBI and CIA and the formation of the Medical Robotics and Information Technology Center. The article continues, "Ken Gabriel, professor of the electrical and computer engineering and a member of the Robotics Institute since 1997, will head the new initiative. He is an expert in developing micro-electromechanical systems, MEMS, miniature high-performance sensors and controls that help information systems sense, act, and compute. The use of drones and cyborg drones in the surveillance state has been in constant development since long ago. ready to be deployed for the right moment, such as now. Although this here is a propaganda piece highlighting the achievements of this man and of DARPA in general, such as its internet forerunner ARPANET, drone aircrafts, global position satellites, it frames Ken Gabriel's work as technological achievements that have served as contributions to the many products available to the public today. There are a few details worth noting that provides further context on the weaponized origins of this MEMS technology, which is made use of by the Dragonfly drone. There is also a key connection here. In terms of Ken Gabriel's worldview, which as you will see, indicates an ultimate belief in cybernetics and transhumanism. The Funder, published April 4, 2001, contains the connection I stated earlier with some background. It reads, as a researcher in biomedical engineering, gave him important insight into which technologies most warranted development. MEMS was one of the first major technologies after the Cold War oriented to the Department of Defense. For every technical development with a defense application, there were at least 10 different related commercial possibilities. Like many in the field, Gabriel did not start out thinking about micromachines. He began his career at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, focusing on the way human beings process sensory information. Quote, essentially, I was looking into human-machine interfaces, he says. Clearly, Gabriel is a student of cybernetics and transhumanism. Again, this further demonstrates the true intention behind the mass adoption and consumption of such weaponized technology under the guise of an altruistic improvement of healthcare and national security. These cybernetic human-machine interfaces will simply bring about absolute control and enslavement of the individual.
My name is Will Lank, and we're here at Draper's Engineering Possibilities 2016 Showcase.
My name is Jesse Wheeler. I'm a biomedical engineer here, and I'm working on the Dragonfly project. The goal of the project is to steer actual dragonfly insects in order to create a totally new kind of micro-aerial vehicle that's smaller, lighter, and stealthier than anything that's man-made. This is a great opportunity to take the 80 years of experience that Draper has in navigation and miniaturization and actually combine that with neurotechnology to do some really cool work in actually guiding insects.
Where do you see this technology being utilized to the benefit of the world at large?
Well, so this will give us new capabilities in intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance.